Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Raven and welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking about the defensive meta patch that they're going to be bringing in. It's available on the test servers for PC next Thursday. I think it's the 27th. So if you're on PC, you can jump onto the public test servers and you can try that out. I'm going to be trying it out to see how this thing plays out because they're making some pretty damn big changes. Now pretty much all the changes they're making, the majority of them are pretty damn good, but there are two major problems I can see with the changes they're thinking about bringing in, because there are two things in there that sort of completely counteract each other, and I think it's going to be a massive problem that they will need to address. I'm going to go over that in a minute, but first of all, I'm going to talk about the absolute just flat out awesome changes that they're thinking about implementing when they bring the defensive meta patch in. So the first one is that they've fixed the flicker bug, okay? So they've worked out a way to get rid of that. Apparently it's going to be harder to, do your zone attacks because they've reduced the buffer and all that sort of stuff, but the flicker should be gone, which is pretty damn good. They will need to do something for the Orochi though, because currently the Orochi just literally relies on the flicker bug and his light attacks. That's pretty much all he has right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do to the Orochi in order to fix him and bring him up to speed with everyone else. Now that he can't, just absolutely just abuse this flicker bug, which, let's be honest, it was the only way he could really do stuff. Now the second amazing change that they're bringing into the defensive patch is going to be chip damage, okay? Now any attack that does damage will now do 18% chip, whether it's a light attack, heavy attack, whatever. If it does damage, it does a flat 18% chip damage. Before it was between 2 to 10% of the attack's damage, but now it's just a flat 18%, which is really good. Keep in mind as well that chip damage can't kill people, okay? So you can bring someone down to, 1 health with chip, but you can't finish them off with chip. So keep that in mind. You cannot kill people with chip damage. You can only bring them down to 1 health, and then you have to finish them off with an actual attack. You can't just go for a chip victory. And now for the last really awesome change that is pretty much just a positive all around is the fact that you can no longer get a free guard break after you parry. So no more, as soon as you parry someone, you get a free guard break, then you get a free heavy. That is gone. After you parry someone, if you choose to guard break, they will have a chance to counter guard break. So those are the really, really good changes that I think they're bringing into the defensive meta patch. Like I said, the only thing they'll need to tweak from those changes is the, buff the Orochi, considering that he relies so heavily on that flicker bug. But apart from that, they're all really good. So now I'm going to go through the rest of the changes that they're doing, and then I'm going to talk about those two really big problematic things that, counteract each other, and they're going to need to do something about it. So we're going to start off with the parry. Now, basically the way the new parry is going to work, how they're thinking about doing it, is that when you parry now, the only thing you can get for free, they said majority of the time, that's a weird statement to throw in there, it's either going to be free or it's not going to be free. We'll have to see with that. So Roman said when you do parry someone, you'll be able to get a free light attack. Keep in mind, like I said, you can't get a guard break anymore. Of course, you won't be able to get a heavy anymore. It's just a free light attack. Apparently, there'll be enough frames there for you to sneak one of those in. And they also said that they shortened the parry window, so you can't, feint by reaction and stuff now, which is quite interesting too. Moving on to the guard break, they said that there's no more guard break reaction. So you know how with, say, Shigoki, his attacks are so slow, he goes to swing, most of the time you can just do a reaction guard break and guard break him out of his heavy attack. You can't do that anymore. So say if the big fat man himself goes to swing and you try and a guard break, you would just bounce off him like any other attack. You can't just guard break on reaction anymore, which is quite cool, because that was a little broken and it felt bad being a Shigoki. You go to attack and you just guard break the guy out of it. It's not very nice. And now we're getting to the out of stamina changes, okay? Now there's some massive changes coming here. It's going to be quite interesting. They basically said it flat out, and I'm 100% fine with this for the record. This is the one time they said something and they meant what they fucking said. There's no lies, no bullshit. They were serious about what they said. They were sticking to their guns on this one, and Roman literally said it himself. When you go out of stamina, that means you fucked up, okay? They want it to be, oh shit, I fucked up, and then you're pretty much dead. They're going to be making it really hard for you to actually do anything once you're out of stamina, apart from die. And they said they want people to start actually looking at their stamina bar and making sure that they don't go out of stamina. They don't just spam stuff, go out of stamina, dodge backwards 3 times, get their stamina back, and go in. They want to make it an actual dangerous state where if you get to that point, you can pretty much just bend over and just, accept the warlord up the ass. So the first change they're doing is when you dodge while out of stamina, it is slower now, okay? So normally when you're out of stamina, you sort of do that stumble half run thing. Now when you try and dodge, it's supposed to be slower, so that way, you can't just dodge away from everyone and just, fuck off, because like I said, you're supposed to be out of stamina, out of breath. You're not going to be dodging away like it's nothing when you're out of stamina, so that's a cool change. Whenever you block, and I think it said dodge, I'm going to have to look on that, but it's either, I know for a fact when you block now, while you're out of stamina, it pauses your stamina regeneration, okay? So if you're out of stamina and you got a berserker just just fucking wailing on you, every time he hits you and you block that attack, you're not going to regenerate stamina. So that means you're going to stay in that out of stamina state a lot longer. Once again, making it extremely dangerous to be in that state, because the guy's not going to let up on you. He's just going to keep pounding your ass out as soon as you're out of stamina, which means that you're not going to be getting your stamina back. And you got to keep in mind, if you're facing someone like the Centurion, all these attacks drain stamina, so you're pretty much never going to get your stamina back, and you just get to, you know, die. Now, keep in mind as well that when you block while out of stamina, it no longer stops light attack chains. Keep in mind that means that every time you block a light attack as well, they get to continue their chains, and your stamina regen stops when you block. So those two things are going to go in tangent. It basically just means people can, like, you know, get their full chains out and their combos out. You just basically get to sit there and not regenerate any stamina while they're doing it. Keep in mind as well, you're also going to be taking chip damage on every single attack that hits you. They really want it to be a state that you never want to actually be in, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works. And last thing they said was that the out of stamina regeneration cannot be drained by melee attacks anymore. It just pauses it instead. What they're going for is every time you block an attack, it pauses your regeneration, okay? So they're trying to make it so, you know, you'll block a bunch of attacks, but in between that person swinging at you and chasing you and stuff, you're going to be regenerating. They hit you, you block the attack, and then it pauses, and then basically as soon as, like, you know, they start winding up the next combo, it'll regenerate a bit, so you will get your stamina back eventually. But the idea is, how much damage are you going to take before you actually get your stamina back? And basically, are you going to survive, you know, getting your stamina back before you either get chipped down to 1 life and he just kills you in the end, or of course he just fucks you up. So those are the majority of changes that they're bringing to the defensive meta. Now we're going to be moving on to the two things that counteract each other, and this shit is fucking insane, to be honest. So the first one is, when you parry in the new defensive meta patch, it drains more stamina than it does now. Okay, we don't know how much. It could be double, could be, you know, a quarter more, whatever. It drains more stamina. Roman said that you can use that to put people into the out of stamina state by parrying. So that is the first change, okay? The second change, which makes the out of stamina state an absolute just, you are dead as soon as you get into that state, is the fact that once you're out of stamina now, you can no longer parry. So as soon as you get out of stamina, if that raider does his fucking, you know, big unblockable at you, you just have to take it. You can either dodge, but remember, when you dodge, it has all those like negative effects on it, and it's slower, so you got to try and dodge out of the way, but you know, that thing's going to hit you. You can't parry when you're out of stamina anymore. Now, there are two major problems I can see with these two changes. First of all, let's go over the stamina one, not being able to parry when you're out of stamina. That change right there pretty much just made Centurion an absolute fucking god. Every single one of his massive attacks are unblockable. He has the ability to just drain your stamina like no fucking tomorrow. Now keep in mind, both Centurion and Warlord have an ability that once they parry, instead of doing a light attack or a heavy attack, they can hit guard break really fucking quick. The Centurion grabs you and knees you, which drains a ton of stamina. Warlord shield bashes you and drains a ton of stamina. Now couple that with the fact that when you parry, it drains like way more stamina than it does now. All the Centurion and the Warlord needs is one parry, okay? One parry, and they will basically drain your entire stamina bar and instantly put you into the out of stamina state. And then if you're the Centurion, you can throw out as many unblockables as you fucking want, and with the insane tracking, they're not going to be able to stop it, okay? You can throw out a heavy and then go into your charged up heavy. They can't parry it anymore. They cannot stop it. They just get to die. That is the first problem. The fact you can no longer parry from being out of stamina. Any character that has unblockable attacks is going to become very, very fucking powerful, especially the Centurion. And with the two new heroes that they're bringing out, who fucking knows what they're going to have in their kit. If they have unblockables and ways to drain stamina, they're just going to instantly go from already being god tier because they're new heroes to just being like fucking above and beyond if this goes through. Now, the next thing you need to keep in mind as well is the fact that parrying now drains more stamina than it already does will mean that the defensive meta will be way more prevalent than it already is, okay? It's going to be way more important, especially given how dangerous the out of stamina state is. Right now, the reason why the defensive meta is such a big problem is because once you parry someone, you get a free heavy attack. It's free damage, okay? That's why everyone just does it so much. So what this new change is going to do, though, is every single time you parry someone, instead of getting free damage, now you just drain a shit ton of their stamina. And considering with the new out of stamina changes, as soon as someone goes out of stamina, they're pretty much dead, especially if you're going to be using characters like the Centurion. This just means that people are literally just going to sit there and fish for parries, because as soon as they know for a fact, as soon as they get that parry off, 1 or 2 parries, the person's out of stamina, then they can just do whatever the fuck they want to them without fear of being parried anymore. So they will just throw out as many attacks as they can to put as much chip damage down or maybe get a couple through. If they have unblockables, they'll just throw a couple of those out to get instant damage. And then as soon as the person gets their stamina back, what are they going to do? They're just going to start fishing for parries again, because they know as soon as they get them into the out of stamina state, they can do whatever the fuck they want and just fuck them up. So those two changes go against each other. The fact that you can't parry when you're out of stamina means that once you're out of stamina, you are in deep fucking shit, okay? That means you can no longer defend yourself. You're going to be taking chip damage. Every time you block, your stamina regeneration is going to stop. And of course, you know, any unblockables are just going to go through and hit you. Every other parry change they've made is really, really good. That change by itself is a bit of an issue in, like, you know, when it comes to Centurion and stuff, but it's not as bad. But as soon as you add that stamina punish increase to the parry, all of a sudden, that just means no, everyone's just going to do nothing but try and parry people to get them into out of stamina state, because now they know there's going to be nothing to stop them. Every other change that they've made are great changes, okay? Like I said, everything else works, but those two things are going to be extremely fucking problematic, and both of those things cannot exist in the same world, okay? So in the end, they're going to have to get rid of one or the other. They either get rid of the extra stamina punish on the parry when you parry someone, or they're going to have to get rid of the fact that you can't parry once you're out of stamina. Because as soon as you put those two things together, like I said, everyone's just, the defensive meta is just going to be stronger than ever, because that makes parry way too fucking strong when you couple that with what happens once your opponent is out of stamina. So overall, guys, I think they're really, really good changes. Those are the only two things I have a problem with. And like I said, I'm going to be testing it out next week, next Thursday. It's going to be open for PC only, so everyone can jump onto PTS or PTR, whatever you want to call it. You can test out the changes and see how it actually plays. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think of these brand new defensive meta changes. Like I said, it's good to see Ubisoft is actually doing something fucking drastic for once. Let's hope that they don't just go completely overboard, especially with those two extra changes that I'm a bit worried about. So make sure you leave that comment down below and let me know your thoughts on all the changes mentioned. Please share this video around, it helps me out a fuck ton. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.